good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the day watching this video. And for my last video, I was in the Lake District doing some handheld wintry shots, and my plan was to do that and then head off to the Isle of Skye and a place called Elgol, which I've been to a couple of times and absolutely love it. And that was the plan, but the weather's been inclement and I just couldn't get up there, having to come back from work. This is just a bit too risky for me to try and get back. So that's going to be for another video. Today, where I am today, I'm in one of the most beautiful parts of the UK, which I thoroughly enjoy photographing, is Northumberland coast. And what I'm going to do today is something totally different and out of my comfort zone. I'm going to do some abstract beach photography. I know it's not everybody's taste, but sometimes you've got to try and push yourself, move into a different genre of photography, and this is something I've never done before, so I'm really looking forward to it. And the weather today is probably best for that. It's overcast. It's forecast to be a little bit of rain later on, so but the wind's very light, so I'm not too concerned about that. And the geology down there is particularly nice. Well, I'm hoping so anyway for this type of photography. So this might not work and it might work. We'll just have to see. So I'm really looking forward to it. Spend a couple of hours down on the beach there on the Northumberland coast. You can't get any better, can you? Absolutely beautiful place. So let's get on with it. Right, down on the beach. I think what I'm going to be looking for this abstract type of photography is I'm looking for obviously colour, some really lovely textures, and maybe some leading lines running through it depending on the subject. But I've just been looking at this wall here, and I don't know if you can see there, but there's some amazing textures and colour in there, and different tones. So I think what I'm going to do is investigate this first and see how we get on with it. But wow, it's amazing, absolutely stunning. Right folks, I think I've got my first little composition here on this wall area that I said I was going to focus on for my first image. And I'm on this area here. I'm going to show you in camera what I'm about to take. But I think the thing that really drew me to it is the lines that are running from right to left across the frame there, and some lovely oranges and dark reds and greys and yellows, loads of beautiful texture that's on here. I really love that. But what I'm going to do to chase it up a bit is I'm going to tilt my lens over to my left, so it's at an angle, so the frame's going to be coming across here. I just think it works, it's more dynamic, so I'm really pleased with this. So I'm going to take my shot and my first abstract photograph. Lovely. Right guys, I'm ready to shoot my first composition. I'm all set up. As I say, I've got my camera tilted at an angle just to get this more dynamic. I'm at 140mm on this 70 to 200mm lens, and I'm at f16 just to get enough depth of field throughout the image. I'm hoping that's the case, because I really don't want to be stacking images. My computer's just not powerful enough to cope with that. So I'm at f16. It's giving me a shutter time of 1 second because of the light that I've got at the minute, and ISO 64, the lowest I can get to get the best quality of the image. So I'm going to go ahead and take my first abstract image. Right folks, I've got my second composition set up and absolutely love this composition. The reason why I've come over and investigated this area is that I love the shapes that are within this frame. I absolutely love the colour tones in it, some beautiful yellows, some really deep dark oranges, and some lovely dark blacks. And I think that tonal range really works well for this image. It's got some beautiful little shapes in it, and the texture on this is absolutely wonderful. Got my 50mm lens on, and it's given me an exposure time of 1/6 of a second f16, just to keep it as sharp as I can, and ISO 64. So it took me quite a while to get this to this composition, and I think that's one of the challenges. It needs balance, and there's compositions everywhere here. You only have to look a couple of yards either way, and there's compositions everywhere, but they just got to look right, haven't they? They just got to look right. It can just overwhelm you with all the textures and shapes that are going on in here. So I've took my time and I've come across this, and I think it works wonderfully. So I'll go ahead and take my little shot here, and really like this one. Right, I'm looking for one more composition, and I've noticed as I'm going around, there's not, the only drawback to here, I suppose, there's not many, it's a wonderful location for normal landscape photography and abstract images, is that there's not much of colour ranges here. That's the only drawback. Most of the tones and colours are very sort of orangey and dark browns and bits of yellows dotted around. Other than that, there's not that many colour variations. That's the only little bit of a drawback here. But I suppose if I'm going to put a set of images together, these would be perfect, wouldn't they? 3 images together. There's that sort of tonal range. There's an abstract image on the wall, a set of 3. So I'm going to look for my final composition, and maybe I can find a little bit of different colours in this next composition, hopefully, but it's not looking likely. So onwards. Right guys, I've got a little bit of green in this one, which is quite nice. You won't see my ugly mug in this particular shot, which is always good, isn't it? It's always good. I really like this area here that runs through it. And when I'm looking at images like this, for me, because I'm new to this, is I'm looking at the bigger picture, as in like, what is it similar to in the bigger landscape? So for me, this is like a little river running through a gorge. That's what it's looking like to me. That's what I envisage on this. And this is the rock face, the cliff face, and the same at this side. And you can just imagine it being sort of so far up in the air that this would be like 3 or 4 miles away, looking down at a gorge in a landscape. And that's just my warped mind, though. So, but I do like the greens that are particularly in this image. I'm going to have this at an angle, though, I think, coming diagonally across the frame from one corner to the other, I think, to give it a bit of a flow. So yeah, I really like this. So yeah, I'm going to use my 50mm lens again and pop it on the screen for you. But really love this bit, really love. Right folks, that's me done for today. My piece of little abstract photography here on the Northumberland coast. And I've really enjoyed the challenge to my normal stuff that I do. And I think the takeaway today is that if I'm going to do abstract photography again, you really need to take your time scouring the areas, because there's compositions and colours and textures and tones everywhere, especially down here. Thoroughly enjoyed it. As I say, it's a bit of a challenge, but you need to get out of your comfort zone sometimes, especially me. So, if you could put a thumbs up on the video, appreciate that guys, and consider subscribing if you're not. And I hope to see you on the next video. I apologise for the Scotland trip, but it was out of my hands with the weather conditions. I couldn't get up there, so I'm hoping to go to Elgol later on in the year. So until next time, bye.